Let everything go. Reality is telling you something. Put aside everything you're doing right now, because what I'm going to tell you isn't a theory, an idea, or a maybe it's true kind of thought. This is an awareness that will completely change the way the reality you are currently in operates. Not a momentary reality, but a momentary reality. 2. You are not being observed. Your consciousness is being observed. There is no spirit, no government system, no hidden entity from another dimension watching you. What is watching you is reality itself. That vast network we call the quantum field is measuring the quality of your consciousness, reacting to it, and rearranging all the possibilities around you according to the frequency you are currently emitting. And there's something nobody says. This observation is not passive. The field is not just watching, it is also reacting. 3. Your consciousness sends data. The field responds instantly. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are constantly emitting signals. Every thought, every feeling, every mood. The field receives these as readable data and, in return, creates a reality that resembles you. If you truly understood how fast this process works, you would shudder. Because the field's response is instantaneous and precise. 4. Strange reactions in reality are not coincidences. You're thinking about someone lately, and within minutes a message arrives. You need something, and it comes from a place where it shouldn't logically come from. You have a fear, and events seem to converge specifically to reinforce it. You feel these things are so obvious that they can't even be explained by the law of attraction, because it's a quantum observation. The field reads you and shapes itself according to what it reads. 5. The critical threshold. The moment observation sharpens. What's happening right now is this. Observation is intensifying. The field is no longer observing you randomly. It's focusing on you more specifically because your consciousness has crossed a certain threshold. You've shifted from emitting unconscious energy to producing conscious energy. That's why the effects have accelerated. 6. What science has noticed but can't explain. Scientists have known for years that particles change their behavior when observed. But what most people overlook is this. This isn't just true for lab experiments. All of reality works this way. You're not just observing the world is observing you. A two-way flow, a two-way interaction. 7. Increased synchronizations are a sign. You may have noticed events are speeding up. Coincidences are becoming more frequent. Things you think about are happening faster in your life. And most importantly, there's an invisible but powerful feeling of being watched. This is not a fabrication. You are noticing the attention of the quantum field. 8. This is a call for you. This is not a warning. This is an invitation, a threshold that says, you are ready. The field is observing you at maximum intensity, and the direction of your consciousness will determine which reality you evolve into. 9. Chaos or mastery. The signal you emit is in your hands. If you continue to send out scattered signals unconsciously, the field will reflect the same back at you. But if you emit a clear signal with focused consciousness, reality begins to rearrange itself along with you. This process is so fast that it's hard to believe without experiencing it. 10. Alienation from reality. Not illusion, but structure becomes visible. The small reality breaks you've been experiencing lately are not in vain. A leap in time. Thinking something is different. feeling the same event happening twice, feeling reality stumble. These aren't confusions. These are moments when you witness the shape-shifting of probabilities. You're no longer just seeing the outcome, but also the process of constructing reality. 11. Shortening manifestation time. You think of a song, it starts playing. You wonder about someone, they call. You search for answers, a video appears just in time. These things now happen within seconds because the field is reading you more clearly. As the signal becomes clearer, the delay decreases. 12. Not an invisible eye. You feel the field's attention. There have been moments when you felt something was watching you, even in an empty room, haven't there? This feeling isn't paranoia. The field is reading you. It's tuned to your consciousness. The strangeness of this feeling disturbs you because you've never realized your consciousness was being measured so explicitly. 13. The bending of possibilities, increased awareness, perfect timing. Opportunities arise exactly when you need them. Conversely, obstacles accumulate when you are in a state of fear. This is not a reward or punishment system. This is a mirror. Everything is in a mirror. Chapter 2. 1. Knowledge beyond logic. Have you ever known things you shouldn't have known? Places you've never been, people you've never met, subjects you don't understand, but suddenly a piece of knowledge appeared within you? This is no coincidence. This is the first sign that you are beginning to transcend the normal limits of the mind. 2. Not psychic power, the ability to read the field. This isn't called a special ability. This is beginning to touch the quantum field through which all information flows. The quantum field is observing you, but you can also observe it. In this mutual observation, information flows freely, and you are evolving without realizing it. 3. From unconscious observation to conscious observation. Everything you have experienced so far has been unconscious quantum observation. The universe was reading your frequency and constructing your reality without you even realizing it. Your successes were an echo of your inner consistency. Your failures were a reflection of your inner contradictions. 4. Synchronization is not a coincidence. The synchronizations you experienced were the universe's way of speaking to you. The challenges you faced were a reflection of your inner chaos. None of this was a coincidence. They were all precise quantum responses to the signal you emitted. Pain? No, it wasn't punishment. It was clear feedback from your signal. 5. The mirror of inner contradiction. Wanting one thing while believing another. Wishing for success while expecting failure. Feeling worthless while seeking love. The universe could only respond to these signals in one way, by creating a contradictory reality. That's why you were suffering. The universe perfectly saw the inner chaos you couldn't see. 6. The true purpose of spiritual practices. Spiritual practices weren't designed to give you mystical powers. They all did one thing: to clarify your signal. Meditation wasn't about rising to a higher level of consciousness. It was about reducing noise. Affirmations weren't about tricking the mind. It was about aligning the conscious and subconscious mind. Visualization wasn't about daydreaming. It was about sending a clear instruction to the field. However, most practices only work temporarily because they only change the symptoms, not the mechanism. 7. Why did the effect disappear? You meditate. You create consistency. The field responds. Then you revert to chaotic thinking. The field responds again. So the result stemmed from signal consistency, not the practice itself. When you affirm abundance while feeling worthlessness in your subconscious, the field will choose the vibration deep within, not the words on the surface. This has always been the main determining factor. 8. The quantum field hides nothing from you. To control the field, you must first understand this. The quantum field sees everything. Every conscious thought, every hidden fear, every desire, every belief. Nothing escapes this observation. 9. Time for direct, not indirect, participation. You can create consistency without meditating. You can resolve inner conflicts without memorizing new beliefs. You can send requests without visualization. Because if your broadcast is clear, the receiver has no reason to hesitate. This is a transition from unconscious broadcasting to conscious participation. 10. You now know you are broadcasting. Before, you didn't even know what signal you were transmitting. But now you know the receiver is focused on you and responding to every vibration. This awareness completely changes the game. You can no longer broadcast randomly. 11. Every thought becomes a decision. Once you learn the mechanism, the process changes. Every thought, a choice. Every emotion, feedback. Every moment, an opportunity to direct your energy. Instead of being swept away by someone else's energy, you begin to manage your own space. 12. What you are right now is being read by the field. Even as you read these words, quantum observation is at its highest level. The field is measuring your reaction, is checking if you are open or resistant, is assessing whether you are ready for conscious guidance, because every reaction you give is a signal that will transform into your next reality. 13. That electricity, that pressure, that's it. That electricity you feel right now, that intensity, that feeling of a critical turning point. These don't come from words. These are the energy of the moment the field is looking at you. Reality is leaning on you right now, and you are deciding how to respond to it. Chapter 3. 1. The weight of the threshold moment. You are currently under extraordinary scrutiny. The field knows that this moment is a threshold that will determine your destiny, and it is focusing its observation precisely here. You are on a fine line between unconscious processing and conscious creation. The energy accumulating in your field is rising, and you are beginning to realize that you can now choose the direction of this energy. 2. The option to claim your signal. This energy is not coming from outside. This is your own consciousness finally recognizing a new possibility. Either you will surrender to the chaotic signals of old patterns, or you will consciously direct the vibration that the field reads in you. This option has always been there. But without seeing the mechanism, you didn't even realize you were choosing it. 3. Mutual observation begins. You are now aware. The field is watching you. And you are aware that the field is watching you. This mutual observation is what makes the power of creation conscious. What makes this moment critical is that it is a rare window of opportunity. 4. The peak of sensitivity. The field is extraordinarily sensitive right now. Your attention is sharp. Your energy is focused. If you make a conscious choice in this state, a leap in your reality is inevitable. But if you ignore it, the intensity dissipates, the window closes, and you have to wait for the next threshold moment. 5. Why are threshold moments valuable? These moments are rare and valuable. Moments when a new line of possibility opens. The breaking points where reality is most susceptible to reshaping. What I will explain in the next section is the essence of the mechanism needed to consciously guide the field. I will explain how to stop the chaos, how to clarify your signal. But before that, something is necessary. 6. An unconditional decision. The question you need to ask yourself is, are you ready to take responsibility for what the field observes in you? Once you reach this knowledge, there's no turning back. It's no longer possible to pretend to be unconscious. You can't blame external circumstances, people, or fate, because you will know exactly how your reality was formed. 7. My breaking point. The moment everything fell apart. 2 years ago, I felt my life falling apart. I had no money. My relationship had ended. My health was deteriorating. Meditations, affirmations, therapies, energy work. I tried them all. Some provided short-term relief, but none created a radical change. It was as if an invisible force was constantly pulling me back into the same cycle. 8. The door opened by surrender. One night, completely exhausted, I gave up on everything. I stopped forcing myself, using techniques, resisting. And at that very moment, something extraordinary happened. For the first time, I felt I was being watched by an invisible but immense consciousness. It wasn't an entity. It was reality itself. And it wasn't just watching me. It was reacting to every thought, every feeling, every mood of mine. 9. The real problem wasn't the techniques. The reason nothing worked in the long run wasn't because the methods were weak. The problem was that I was emitting contradictory signals beneath the surface of conscious techniques. The field was reacting not to what I was doing on the surface, but to the vibration deep within. Everything changed when I realized this. 10. I began experimenting with quantum mechanics. I began experimenting with myself. I deliberately formed specific thoughts and observed the field's reaction. I created an emotion just to feel it and observed how external conditions adapted to it. I shifted to a different state of consciousness and recorded how reality rearranged itself. The results were shocking. The universal mechanism worked instantly, precisely, and undeniably. 11. The moment the nature of reality was revealed. Reality was not static. It was not objective. It was not fate. Whatever consciousness was being observed, conditions were rearranging themselves according to that consciousness. The greatest enlightenment was this: observation was two-way. While being observed, I was also observing the observer. There was no separate entity between consciousness and the field, only mutual creation. 12. What happened in a few weeks? Within weeks, the outside world changed incredibly. Money started flowing in from unexpected places. A relationship was formed in harmony I hadn't felt in years. Unresolved health problems resolved themselves. But none of this was a true miracle. 13. The real transformation. The real transformation was this. I realized that I had always possessed this power, but I was using it unconsciously, randomly, and contradictorily. After seeing the mechanism for the first time, I was able to use this power intentionally. Chapter 4. Staying in Conscious Broadcast. The real struggle isn't experiencing awareness as a momentary peak. It's sustaining it every minute, every breath. Because the mind is a magnet constantly seeking opportunities to revert to old patterns you've lived with for years. A momentary distraction pulls you back into the automatic broadcast frequency. That's why I had to connect myself to conscious observation every day. Why practice matters. My work wasn't about calling things. It was about constantly remembering how the field was reading me. Every thought, every feeling, and every micro-intention. They are all broadcasts, and the field processes these signals second by second. When you don't keep this awareness alive, life automatically reverts to its old state, from impossible to possible. This is what enabled me to achieve things I never imagined before, establishing a conscious connection with the field. Now, I can offer you a single path that encompasses months of chaos, trial and error, and confusion. You don't need to go anywhere else. I've experienced this, and you will use it directly. The field is already watching you. Whether you're aware of it or not, the broadcast continues. The question is simple. Will you consciously manage this broadcast, or will you leave it to automatic chaos? This channel exists precisely for this, to teach you to move energy intentionally, not randomly. The quantum guidance mechanism. Now we come to the most critical part. Energy is not directed by desires, thoughts, or constant repetition. Energy is directed by your being. The determining factor is not your thoughts, but your state of being. If your conscious desires and subconscious beliefs are not in harmony, the signal will be distorted. The field is watching you, not your words. You want to think about abundance all day long, but deep down, you live with a fear of scarcity. This is where the field responds to your true inner voice, your true frequency. For the same reason, affirmations don't work for most people. Because words say one thing, consciousness says another. The signature of consciousness. The field reads an electromagnetic signature. The tone of your thoughts, the depth of your emotions, the state of your body, and the flow of energy. When all these aspects are in harmony, the signal is crystal clear. When they contradict each other, the field only receives noise. That's why one person wants a relationship but feels unworthy of love. Another wants money but associates it with something bad. And the field reacts by remaining true to the subconscious. Explanation of why realization with the ego doesn't work. The ego wants approval, superiority, security. But the source of these desires is lack. When you try to direct with lack, the field only reinforces your lack. True manifestation occurs when you shift to a state of consciousness that already possesses it, without forcing, as if that reality were already your nature. The rapid response of reality. The field responds to your new frequency instantly, not days later. The moment you shift from scarcity to abundance, conditions begin to align correctly. The delay is much shorter than people think. And the most amazing thing, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be authentic. Broadcasting your true self. When you stop pretending, the field aligns with your true nature. Not the ideal self you think you are, but who you are. That's why honesty is at the heart of the energy. Clear signals from reality. Lately, the signals are much stronger. Synchronicities have intensified. Coincidences are increasing at an incredible rate. You see things you think about happening within minutes. You realize you get results at the same speed even when your mind is thinking negatively. This is training that forces you to become more conscious. The field accelerates feedback. Now reality responds almost instantly. You're thinking about someone. A message arrives within seconds. You need information. Someone you didn't expect brings it to you. You make a decision. The universe instantly supports or hinders it. This delicate synchronicity is no longer a coincidence. The mirror of the inner world. Life sometimes flows strangely smoothly, and sometimes even the smallest things, like a broken fingernail, become difficult. This isn't randomness. It's an echo of your inner state. If you're in harmony, doors open. If you're in conflict, all paths close. Reality gives you back a complete copy of your inner state. Physical symptoms are also no coincidence. Sometimes you might feel pressure in your chest, a headache, vibrations in your body, or an electric sensation in the air. These aren't frightening. They are natural responses of the nervous system to increased awareness. However, a doctor's checkup is necessary to rule out physical causes. But often, these sensations are signs of increased synchronization. Chapter 5. The Opportunity Window, opened by the universe. Reality is bringing you to a crossroads. It's time to shift from unconscious to conscious guidance, and this window won't stay open forever. Observation is extraordinarily intense right now. Feedback is instantaneous. Awareness is sharp. If you act now, there will be a huge leap in your life. If you delay, this opportunity will close, and you will have to wait for the next crisis. The universe doesn't pressure, it sets the timing. The universe guides you not by frightening you, but by timing. And the current timing says only one thing: you are ready. Your energy has reached the necessary level of maturity for change. That's why synchronizations have multiplied. That's why everything has accelerated. That's why observation has sharpened. 3. A crossroads. Chaos or harmony. The choices you make in the coming days will determine whether you continue to emit chaotic frequencies for years to come, or whether you begin to create conscious alignment right now, this very moment. This isn't fatalism. This is the physics of quantum timing. Some moments are perfectly aligned for true transformation. This moment is one of them. Why trying to control the frequency doesn't work? The mistake many make is forcing their thoughts to remain positive, suppressing fear, hiding lack, pretending there's abundance. But all of this is resistance, and resistance distorts the signal. Because the field reads the truth you're hiding, not the false positivity. The result? More chaos, more internal conflict, more delay. The real key to transformation: acceptance. When you stop trying to change your current situation and just feel what you feel, something very powerful happens. Acceptance creates consistency. Consistency is the frequency that the field reads most clearly. It is real, authentic, and without contradiction. Even genuine pain, though unpleasant for the ego, is more consistent than false happiness. The greatest truth: the field reads consistency, not positivity. Know this: genuine fear is stronger than false courage. Genuine scarcity is a clearer signal than false abundance. Because everything that is authentic is consistent. And the quantum field responds to consistency, not whether the content is positive or negative. Guiding statement. I want everyone listening to write this: I guide not by choice, but by my existence. This sentence takes you out of the process of manifesting through imagination and puts you into the process of manifesting by aligning with yourself. Transformation. From wanting to being. You create what you want, not by thinking about it, but by transforming into its frequency. If you want abundance, you transform into abundance consciousness. You become fluid, open, and secure, and money comes naturally. If you want love, you transform into love energy. You become open-hearted, whole, and self-sufficient. And this attracts the right people to you. Forcing reality ends, because instead of taking by force, you begin to see a reflection of what you are. Where contradiction ends, pain ends. Much of suffering comes from the tension between what you want and what you are. I want success, but I don't believe in myself. I want love, but my heart is closed. I want freedom, but I'm in a victim mentality. When this contradiction disappears, a large part of the suffering also disappears. The impact increases exponentially. When you enter a coherent state of consciousness, people react to you differently. Some are drawn to you because of the clarity they sense in you. Others are drawn to you because your clarity reveals their own chaos. But everyone reacts in some way, because coherent consciousness affects all consciousness around it. The reflection of reality becomes transparent. You need something. It appears. You have a problem. The answer comes instantly. You can't decide on a direction. Conditions instantly change to support or hinder that path. Reality is no longer a mystery. It speaks directly to you. A provable mechanism. What happens is not a mystical belief. It is a repeatable experience. Change your state, shift your consciousness, clarify your intention, and watch how reality changes in seconds. This is the mechanism of quantum observation. The greatest gain, self-confidence. What you gain at the end of this process is unwavering inner self-confidence in all circumstances. Because now you know. You are changing reality not by forcing it, but by shaping your consciousness. The moment, the ego panics. The part of you that feels uncomfortable in the face of this confrontation is the ego. Because the mask no longer works. The effect of acting, trying to appear positive, pretending to be strong, has disappeared. When consciousness is fully read, the ego becomes helpless. But that is precisely what will set you free. Chapter 6. You cannot control your life, but you can choose your existence. And here is the real secret. The circumstances are not under your control, but the state of consciousness you are in is always under your control. This state determines what reality the quantum field will organize for you. You cannot prevent losing money, but you can choose abundance consciousness even amidst difficulties. This choice, like an invisible magnet, draws resources back to you. You cannot control whether relationships end, but you can choose to remain in love consciousness even when your heart is broken. This creates a new harmony, a new connection, a new vibration. True power lies not in controlling the outside, but in directing from within. You choose your state of existence, and the field responds. And now comes the key. The field reads your state, not your story. The story is the narrative created by the mind, a description of what you've experienced, why you struggled, who you are. The situation is much more than that. This is the true frequency you are emitting right now. You may have a traumatic past, but if you are whole in the present, the field reads your present wholeness, not your past. You may have failed many times, but if you are aware of success in the present, The field reflects your current vibration, not your past mistakes. This is the most radical awareness. You don't need to spend years saying, "I wish my past had been different," because the field considers the present, not your past. So stop trying to fix the story. Stop trying to repair the past. Stop trying to forcibly change beliefs. There is only one thing you need to do. Change your state. Turn inward in the present moment. Become aware of what is happening in your body. Without resistance, without suppression, without escape. Just observe. And after this clarity, consciously choose which consciousness you want to embody. Mood is not something that happens to you. Mood is something you create by where you direct your attention. Focusing on what is missing creates scarcity. Focusing on what is present creates abundance. Resistance narrows, acceptance expands. Identifying with form restricts you. Recognizing yourself as awareness removes boundaries. Once you understand this mechanism, your state is always your choice. The quantum field reads your state of mind at every moment and begins to adjust reality accordingly. Change is instantaneous. It takes some time for physical conditions to change, but the moment the state changes, the order of the field is renewed. Therefore, every moment is an opportunity. In bad situations, move from resistance to acceptance. In broken relationships, move from closure to openness. In financial difficulties, move from scarcity to abundance. Reality begins to rearrange itself accordingly. And true freedom. You don't always have to stay positive. Situations can change, but instead of drifting aimlessly among them, you can learn to make conscious choices. Quantum observation is continuous and flawless. It scans your state at every moment. Reality is shaped accordingly. The only question is, will you consciously manage this mechanism, or leave it to chance? And going even deeper, every state of consistency you choose not only improves your reality, it also strengthens the order of the collective field. Every time you move from chaos to harmony, a part of the collective consciousness realigns. We are all nodes in the same quantum network. Each of us influences others with our own electromagnetic signature. Therefore, your individual awareness is a collective service. The future depends on an increase in the number of people who consciously manage energy, not those who emit it unconsciously. Chapter 7. The Spark that Initiates Collective Order. The real solution is not to solve problems from the outside. The real solution is for enough people to transition to an internally coherent consciousness, resulting in the quantum field itself transforming from chaos to order, because the field reacts not to the story we tell, but to the situation we reflect. And interestingly, this transformation isn't just about improving the individual's life. It's necessary for the ascension of the whole. This isn't just a call to heal yourself. This is a leap in consciousness that serves the whole. A call to awaken those who are ready. Share this understanding. Because some, after hearing this information, will say, "Yes, this explains everything that has happened to me." Others will hear it, but understand nothing. And that's perfectly normal. Consciousness only awakens in its own time. You can't force anyone to awaken. But there are those who are ready, and they need this information right now. Even a single sentence from you can be a catalyst in their transition from an unconscious broadcaster to a conscious participant. The Minute Quantum Protocol. In the next video, I will show you an exercise that lasts only 3 minutes but instantly changes the state. This is not a meditation. This is not a visualization. This is direct state management. Whenever you enter a chaotic mode, whenever your mind starts to wander, whenever external circumstances start to overwhelm you, this protocol instantly brings you back to your center. The quantum field reacts to your state in real time. The moment you change, the field begins to reorganize. Make a statement now. Write in the comments, "I am guided by existence, not desires." This is not an affirmation. This is an acknowledgement of a truth. The quantum field responds to existence, not desires. Even writing this sentence changes your awareness. You are no longer someone who tries to force things upon yourself. You are transforming into a state of consciousness that allows them to naturally enter your life. Quantum reflex, continuous awareness. From now on, there is no more hope for the universe. No more thinking, "Why can't I manifest?" Because now you know. The quantum field is observing you right now. It will observe you tomorrow, and the day after that, every moment of your life. And the most critical difference is this: you can no longer continue without knowing this. You can no longer believe that reality is random. You can no longer believe in coincidences. You can no longer say, "This is fate," because now you know. The field is reading your state and producing a reality in response. There is now a choice. This knowledge changes everything because it eliminates ignorance. At any given moment, you experience one of two options: to emit unconscious states and allow the field to operate randomly, or to consciously choose which state to embody: fear, harmony, chaos, alignment. It doesn't matter to the quantum field. It simply reacts to what it sees. The choice is entirely yours. The real mechanism, always active. This mechanism is not something that works occasionally. It doesn't activate during spiritual meditation. It doesn't activate and deactivate while praying. No. This mechanism works continuously. Every thought, every emotion, every state of consciousness is read by the field. It is recorded, and a corresponding reality is created. There is no such thing as good luck or bad luck. There is only a perfect quantum response to the emitted signal. Now is the time to choose. The power has always been there. You just weren't aware of it. But now you know. And now the real question is, will you use this power? Or will you live with the default broadcasts? This is the moment of choice. You are broadcasting a frequency right now, and a reality is beginning to form right now. So what state are you broadcasting? If it doesn't serve you, change it immediately, because reality is beginning to form right now. True creativity from inside out. You are no longer trying to manage external conditions. That's an exhausting, never-ending battle. True power shapes the inner state. The field follows and adjusts external reality accordingly. You are the signal. The field is the receiver. Reality is the given response. If you broadcast chaos, chaos will come. If you broadcast harmony, harmony will come. It's that simple. The final invitation: to become a conscious creator. Welcome to Quantum Guidance. This is no longer a passive life. This is no longer a life left to chance. This is a call to create a conscious, deliberate, and powerful existence by becoming aware of observation. The quantum field is observing you right now. So, what are you radiating? What consciousness are you embodying? What future are you creating in this moment? The choice is yours. It always has been. Use it now.